Yeah, well, welcome to our weekly New Gambia platform show. Today is July 3rd, 2022. We're going to be discussing about illegal government ban on illegal timber trade. That will be our first discussion. And we're also going to discuss about the role of youth in the new democracy that we have and the rule of law. So that will be our second phase of discussion. And I have my co-host here, Sam Sise from Indiana. Sam, welcome. Mfamara Brame from Washington, D.C. or Maryland. Sam, Mfamara, welcome. I'm your host here in New York City, Momodu. Thank you. So we're gonna discuss about the government ban on illegal timber trade. And this is a very important area because some news came out about the government's involvement in this, and a lot of stuffs were online about this timber trade. So it's better to really shed light on this and get in-depth information or in-depth discussion on it so that our viewers can really benefit from this. So Mfamara, you can start and spearhead this discussion. Yeah.
All right. Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Sawane. Good morning, Sam, and the listeners and viewers. My name is Famara Drame, originally from Brufut, but currently in the United States. I'm also one of the co-hosts to this weekly program on the New Gambia platform. So as Mr. Sawane already said, our first discussion is going to be on the ban on timber export and re-export, which the government of the Gambia recently made a declaration or a press release from the office of the president that the Gambia has banned, timber export and re-export in our country, effective the date that the press release was released, which was a few days ago. So I think this is a important and very timely development for our country. And then we want to thank the government of the Gambia, for taking that step in the right direction. As you already know, timber trade is something that has been happening in our country even during the previous administration, which was the Jammeh administration. And then it has been a concern for a lot of environmentalists and a lot of Gambians too, because most of these timbers are coming from, our state forest parks. They are coming from our community forests. Of course, there are other timbers also coming from outside the country, which is the southern region of Senegal, Casamas. All right. So that makes the Gambia like a place where you find tons of woods, coming into our country, getting ready for re-export to China, to India, and other parts of the world, but mainly to China. That's where these timbers are going. So it has been a big concern because it's an industry that involves a lot of money, because the people handling this business, they are very influential. They have very connection to the corridor of power. Sometimes, the laws are not even respected, But in our case, interestingly, because the re-export license is in conformity with our laws, because it is in the Forest Act that the Gambia can re-export wood that comes from other countries. Because if we say re-export, it's not something that origins from the Gambia, but it comes from somewhere else and then come to our country, and then they can re-export those woods. That's what our Forest Act said. And this is what the press release of the OP has actually mentioned in the press release, which is section 113 of the Forest Act. So that re-export was something which is very controversial, even though our Forest Act allowed it to happen. But the timbers coming from Casamas, which we all know definitely has been a conflict timber. It has been a cause of problems in Casamas, and then recently we are all seeing the Senegalese soldiers, the economic which Senegalese is part of anyway, having trouble with, timber dealers, coming from other part of the country or even coming from across the border, entering the country. They have been soldiers, problem with soldiers in the borders. When soldiers or timber dealers went to collect their timber in Senegal and the soldiers stopped them and they did not stop at the checkpoints, we have seen some incidents of shooting happening where the tires of the trucks have been shot. Some drivers got trouble because they were not stopping, and then the Senegalese soldiers used some reasonable force or more than a reasonable force, to get them stopped. So all of those have been happening in the past. But if you look at even in the previous administration, we have also seen from Janneh Commission investigation between 2014 and 2016, over 13,000 containers of timber has left the country. And the majority of this timber, like we said, is coming from customers, but there are some that are also coming from in the country. So it has been a concern, even at the international level. The Convention on International Trade on Endangered Species of Flora and Fauna, which is CITES, and interestingly, CITES has been following this illegal trade in the Gambia, and the Gambia government's, reluctant to stop the trade and also violating the CITES, the CITES obligation. So recently, June 8th, the Gambia CITES has been suspended, because the Gambia was violating the CITES Convention objectives, this particular timber trade. And we have also seen a couple of years ago, the BVC investigation also implicated the Ministry of Environment, in terms of issuing of this license and how the trade was going on in our country. So this has been a concern both at the national level, but also at the international level. You understand? So now to see our government taking that bold step, to ban the trade is something that is really welcome by the environmentalists, and then some of the environmentalists and citizens as well that are very concerned, because the previous bans usually where the Ministry of Environment took the ban and they lifted up and banned again, because the Environment Ministry had the whole 5 years of the last 5 years that just finished, to do something about this illegal trade. And then we also have the CITES bill that was prepared by the Department of Parks and Wildlife, submitted to the Environment Ministry, to get the CITES bill passed over to the National Assembly. And that bill, if passed, was going to regulate or control, some of these endangered species of, plants that are in trees that are included in this strain, which is the local one, which is the KNO, the Petrocarpus ernaceus. The Petrocarpus is one of the endangered species, and it has been listed on Appendix 2 of the CITES Convention, which means that when you want to trade on this particular tree, you definitely need a CITES license. And that license, the competent authority in the Gambia is the Department of Parks and Wildlife, and they are also the focal point. But in the Gambia, we have seen a situation whereby, tree vendors or these wood vendors or the business, they're even dealing directly with the Ministry of Environment, actually sidelining the department that is the focal point for CITES. And this has been a concern too, you understand? And then, the ministry will write to the Department of Forestry, to issue re-export license to particular business companies, which we have seen documented evidences of that, that a particular company is being given a license to be the sole, company responsible for importation of this timber to China. Just like in Jammeh administration, because the Jammeh administration too, when they realized there was huge money involved in this industry, the Jammeh also to capitalize on the industry, monopolize it, and he was only dealing with a company called the Westwood Company, and that Westwood, I think, is a Swiss base. And recently, we also had the civil society organization in Switzerland. They are suing that company for being involved in this kind of trade. So at the time, Westwood was the sole company responsible for handling of containers of timber leaving the Gambia. And they were charging these wood dealers $3,000 per container as a handling fee. So the period of, I think in 2012 to 2016, over 39 million US dollars has been collected for just for handling fee. That's just for handling fee. And the amount of money that they are paying to the government, which they considered as a revenue to the Department of Forestry, was just a chicken change. So it was a huge money that is involved. But environmentally, it is not good because even if our laws require us or our laws allow us to re-export timber from the Gambia, but these timbers are acquired illegally in Senegal. And then the Senegalese authorities have been ringing the bell for many times that the Gambian authorities are helping those people acquiring timber illegally in Casamance to use our country, as a base, to collect these timbers and taking it away. And international convention, both the Gambia and Senegal are signatory to this international convention of CITES. This means it's our obligation, even though the timber doesn't come from our country, but it's our obligation as a country to protect the timbers coming from Senegal, because Senegal is is our neighbors, and two, they are also a member of the CITES. So this has been a concern. And this is one of the reasons why the claim was helping the Casamance rebels. And then recently, this is why when the Senegalese had the opportunity through this ECOMIC, to enter the Gambia, which they didn't have the opportunity in the last previous administration, they took advantage. They are not only there to look at the security side of it, but they are also soldiers of Senegal that are interested in how many timbers or trucks of timbers are coming from Senegal entering the Gambia. And this is why Senegalese soldiers were very instrumental in stopping the timber, entering the Gambia from the Senegalese border end. So this has been a concern. I know in 2018, in one of the press briefing by the Office of the President, they still maintain that the timber ban was still operational, was still effective. And then even though after that, we have seen on and off of the Ministry of Environment trying to lift the ban and they reinstate it again. And then also in the pretext of, they want to clear the backlogs of the timber that has been stranded in the country during January time. So you see, so that has been a problem. So, and I think it is something that, we applaud the government of the Gambia for, to bring this. Hello, are we there?
Yes.
Oh, we are there. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah, you're there. Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, just gonna blank a little while. Okay, that's cool. So this, all I can say right now, we are happy that the government has taken this step, because the previous bans were at the level of the Ministry of Environment. But now to get a high level, senior government official, including the Office of the President, and even the retreat that was done recently, we had the Vice President specifically mention or reference about timber trade. So that shows us a commitment. That also shows that there will be a commitment, for the government to do about this situation and the end. This is what happened after the declaration. Even though June 8th, the Gambia was banned, and some might think that might also, instigate the reasons why the government has to come and ban. But also the president's name was also mentioned in the timber trade recently. We have seen it on the newspaper article. So all of these are all factors, maybe something might be responsible for government's decision. But whatever the case might be, for them to come out and then boldly announce that timber trade is banned in the country is something we should applaud them for. And that's what I'm at right now, because that's a high level government decision level that has taken place with the Office of the President call up, and then they decide over it and then take an action. So I applaud them at this point in time for that action.
Yeah, thank you, Farmer. Thank you. That was a great statement there.
Right.
You definitely nailed this big time, and did a detailed analysis of it as well. So thank you for that. Thank you. I'm sure the viewers will really benefit from all of this, everything that you said. So thank you for that. I just want to add a little bit here, because I remember before 2021 election, this last election, this will pass.
Right.
I remember I made some statements, and I said in my statements if I were the president, or whoever wins, and I said, there are certain things that really need to happen. And one of them is to pass an executive order to stop certain things. And this illegal timber trade was one of them that I mentioned, that whoever becomes president should really pass an executive order and stop it, look into it, review the whole situation, see what is happening, how it's happening, what impact it has on our country and our economy, and most importantly, our environment. Even though I also knew that some of the timber comes from Casamance and to Gambia, but what that does is creates a conflict, an ongoing conflict, or really foster the ongoing conflict between Gambia and Senegal, or Senegal and Casamance. And Gambia gets in the middle of all of that. And these are all of the reasons I said that in those days, that whoever become president, if I were that person, one of the things that I would do is pass executive orders. And executive orders I would pass is to ban this timber trade, to ban the sand mining, and also to ban any commercial fishing in our country until we can look at all of these, because all of these have tremendous impact on our environment. They have a tremendous impact on our economy as well. So the president, and I would say kudos to them as well for the government to come out and ban that. So that's a good move. It's something that should have been done a long time ago so that we wouldn't get to today. And this is what I foresee coming, during those days in the last year before elections. I foreseen this happening or coming, because if we don't do anything to it and stop it, something is going to happen that's going to cause a big problem. And one of the other things that I look at is, like I said, and like Farmer said, this timber trade has parts in Gambia. There are some trees coming from Gambia and some coming from the Casamance. If we look at our country, trees are very important to any environment. I mean, look at the rainforest, look at how hot it gets in the Gambia. Look at the oxygen that we breathe in Gambia, all of that, the air quality, pollution, all of these are things that can be minimized by trees. And if we cut all of our trees down, we're opening the door for all kinds of things to happen. And not only that, but also lack of enough rain, too much heat in the country, too much pollution in the country, which creates a bad air quality for people to breathe. And trees are part of the reasons why we had all of those. But because of the lack of knowledge, I would put it that way, for some people, not everyone, but for some people, they just keep killing the trees and cutting them down without knowing the environmental impact of trees in our country. And I would say that if you cut one tree, you need to plant maybe 5, 3 to 5 more trees and grow them, because they are very important to our environment. In fact, if your survey shows that if you actually have trees planted around your house, it can actually cut down your air conditioning bill by a certain percentage, because the trees really cool off the property. I mean, common sense. Back in the days, we go out in the field, we go do all kinds of things. We are in the sun, like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, in the middle of nowhere. When it gets so hot, what do? We go and try to rest under a tree. There is a reason for that, because the tree under the tree is usually cooler than anywhere else than out in the field. So cutting those trees down, we are causing an environmental damage to ourselves. So I'm glad the government took steps now, but I would say that sometimes they are a little too late. They wait until things come out, until rumors come out, then they come and do damage control. A government with great leaders don't do that. You need to be the one that is going to be proactive and take actions before things happen. Don't wait until things happen, then come to defend them or then take action. So proactive actions will prevent future problems. So at the end of the day, I'm glad that they did a ban on the timber trading, because it's damaging to our environment, it's damaging to our economy, it's bad for us. So and continue to create that conflict between Senegal and Casamance, but also Gambia being part of it because we're being used. And how would it feel if Senegal used Gambia another way that is damaging to us? We're not going to like that. So any leader, you're going to look at things from that perspective and stop things before they happen. So I'm going to stop here and give someone a chance as well. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Sam, and thank you, Famara, for those wonderful, thoughts. Yeah, I can't agree more than what you guys just addressed. I think, the timber trade, like Famara was explaining, partly is coming from Senegal, and some is coming within the Gambia. I know Gambia don't have that many trees that we will be able to make a big deal out of this. So, but us being in a position to have this done, the deals pass through our country as an export, hub. I think that's the concern here, especially if based on the illegality of this timber trade.
Mm.
So our government's involvement in this should not be neglected.
Right.
What we need to pinpoint, what is the issue here? Because the illegal trade cannot succeed without our leadership's knowledge or giving, some kind of a cousin to it, or maybe, being, blind eye about it. Something somewhere is missing. So this needs to be addressed. And then I was following some news about the possible, involvement of, government folks, in the dealing. So I don't know how, true that is, but if that speculation turned out to be true, we need to hold them accountable for that, because our leaders need to be an example of ethics, good ethics, transparency, and accountability. They cannot, be involved in such an illegal trade and without, they need to be accountable for that if that is the case. So I don't know what you guys know or what you heard, if there are evidence out there, but in order for this to be successful, they must be given a cousin, and then it has to come from higher authority. So I think that is something that we need to address and to bring into to limelight. So another thing is, this has been going on since Jammeh era, and I know President Jammeh has been pointed out as someone who has allegedly been involved with this timber trade as well, perhaps getting some kind of benefit from it. I'm not sure about that, but I allegedly been, connected to it, and now we are seeing the same deal, coming, and then there is no stop to it. So our government should take it as a responsibility and clear the air as their position as to how are they, trying to stop this illegal timber trade that goes through Gambia. And as far as Gambia is concerned, we don't have too many forestry, so we need to replant, like Sam was saying. When you take one tree down, you need to plant 5. I mean, because we are in deficit when it comes to, trees and the forestry. And like Sam mentioned, if you have many trees anywhere, there's likelihood that there will be a lot of rain, and then the cost of energy would probably go down. This is a true, scientific analysis. This is not something made up. If you're surrounded with coal, the amount of energy you need to make your house cool would be reduced. So based on that, I think Gambian citizenry should take it upon themselves, not only wait for the government, but try to replant. What does it cost to replant? It's barely not much, really. It's just taking a root of a plant or branch of a plant somewhere and then plant it somewhere.
Right.
And then let it water it. So if it is in the rainy season, the rain takes care of it. If it's in the dry season, you get it watered. So if every household commits to planting trees around the city or around the village or around the town, there will be a lot of impact. That place will be green.
Right.
Flowers and trees, we should be green. But sometimes we are very negligent to our environment, and this is hurting us. Our natural environment is that made us. The oxygen that we breathe is come from them.
Yep.
And then the carbon monoxide that we release goes to them. So we live side by side with these forest trees and these trees. So I don't understand why our people are not conscious nowadays with the environment. People are so negligent, and it's not helping us. So we should make sure that our timbers, the little ones we have, are not exported. We use it efficiently and we replant as much as possible to sustain the demands that we need. We need to retain more and use it to our own ability, to our own use. Yeah, we need to have reserve, just like how America has reserve for oil. They reserve in their oil and using oil from Saudi Arabia and other places just in case something happens. So we should be reserving our timbers and use it perhaps when we need it for our own use, instead of like having to allow this illegal timber trade. So I think those are the observations that I'm adding to this discussion. But Barbara, you can come again since you are more distant on this, and then trying to perhaps fill in any gaps that we miss in this discussion, and Sam can also come in.
Yeah, thank you so much. Just as Sam said, sometimes we are too late to take action because this is something that has been going on for a long time in the Gambia, and we've been raising a lot of red flags for it, and the government is aware. But just like you said, people don't care about environment, and environmental issues are not something that is a high priority for the government. You know what I mean? If I say a high priority in terms of taking actions, because all of these things have been happening. The Janet Commission report has actually revealed, some of the environmental destruction, especially this timber dealing that has been going on in Jammeh's administration. So there are a lot of information that the government is already aware of. They know a lot of data. They know about a lot of illegal activities going on surrounding this timber. So you will assume that our new administration will do something about it and correct the matters immediately and deal with it. But this was not the case, because there's a lot of money involved in this industry. And then people take advantage, people go use, people close to the power, the corridors of power, to influence them, just to help, in this illegal trade, because it's a huge money. Because like I mentioned earlier, in 2000, 2 years ago, the BBC investigation has revealed that over 300 tons of timber has left the Gambian soil. And if you have to, see the equivalent of that, that's equivalent to over 1 million trees has been cut down. So imagine 1 million trees cut down. That's a huge environmental disaster. That's a huge environmental disaster, and that 3 million, the 300,000 tons was equivalent to $100 million US, or about 80,000 pounds sterling, 80 million pounds sterling. So it's a huge money. It's a huge industry that has a lot of money involved in it. That's why it's make it very much difficult to control, because this is a chain walk from the community level where these timbers are coming from. Yes, some are coming from customers, but some are coming from our state forest parks in the Gambia. They are coming from our community forest parks in the provinces, in the URR, NBR, and then CRR, or even in the West Coast region. And then some of these things, they sometimes connive with our local community members. They connive with our VDCs, our forest officers, coming all the way down, even to the police that are standing on the checkpoints, because there is no way that a timber can live on one particular location, to the Gambia Ports Authority, without being stopped by the police or without going through the communities that we see them where those timbers are being loaded, where they come from. So it's a chain walk. But like I said, those chain walks, the law provided it because it was allowed in the Forest Act to do timber re-export in our country. So sometimes they will use it in the pretext that the timber is coming from customers, and then we are going to pay our taxes to the Gambia government because it is allowed to re-export timber in our country. So in that case, sometimes they will sort of fake documentations to the police, which we cannot verify, whether they are even legitimate or not, or they're even, so it is something that has been going on for a very long time in our country. So we really thank the government of the Gambia for this step. Just like Sam said, sometimes it's little bit too late to take action because this could have been taken a long time ago, following the Janet Commission report and other reports of illegal timber trade going on in our country. Because also 2 years ago, 39 containers were intercepted at the Ports Authority, which did not go through the right procedure. They did not even obtain, the right documentation for the timbers to be exported outside the country. And the ministry was aware they intercepted, and they promised to take over the investigation, which they did. They said they have conducted an investigation, and then they promised that the report of the investigation will be made available to the public. But we haven't seen that report. So what happened to 39 containers, we don't know. Whether they left them to go and they either paid money to the ministry, nobody knows. We don't know what happened. But all we know is they have violated our laws because one, they were trying to attempt to export those timbers, without, paying or going through the right procedures. So which was violation of the Forest Act, and the ministry, formed a panel to investigate the matter, and nobody knows what happened next. So these are some of the things that are happening. It's rather unfortunate that the CITES Convention had to suspend Gambia on this because CITES Convention is one of those international, body responsible for, the trade on endangered species of flora and fauna, whether they're animals or whether they're plants or trees, species of fauna. So for Gambia to get suspended, this means that we have violated, our obligations to the conventions for many times, and which, the CITES find it unacceptable. And we had to be suspended on this. And like I said, the Gambia and Senegal are both signatory to this convention. So any action that Senegal, because Senegal is right now, they have stopped banning of timber trade a long time ago. And this is why, because Gambia did not ban it, we allow re-export. In the previous, we allow re-export. This is why conflict timbers from the customers are making their way to the Gambia, because not in Senegal, because Senegal will not export timber anymore. So they find it convenient to cross the border, with the help of our authorities, since the Minister of Environment is able to issue re-export license, through the Forestry Department to allow re-export, to issue re-export license to those vendors that are involved in this trade. So, but the problem is the timbers coming from customers are illegal, and that's what the Senegal government has been saying, because they are illegally obtained, in Senegal. So when a timber is illegally obtained in Senegal and it cross over to Gambia, even though our laws require it to be re-exported, but we have to look at where it comes from, whether.
So in other words, because it's illegal in Senegal, that's why we have to be we have to act.
Yeah, exactly. We should be verifying every timber that comes from Senegal or Casamance. We should be verifying with the authorities in Senegal. Whatever documentation they come up with, we need to verify from the Casamance or from the Forest Department in Senegal to ensure that, yes, it is true that the timber coming crossing our border to Gambia for re-export, it is legitimate. It is something, legal. So, but we're not verifying that. So we're only looking at the documentation they brought over, if any, but we are hiding behind our Forest Act, which allow us to re-export.
Okay, but don't you think that, when we do that, we are doing, I mean, I have no problem, us doing that, but we are doing Senegal a favor in that sense.
We're not doing Senegal a favor. We are actually violating their laws, because that's what Senegal is saying. And that's what they have been reporting in their national reports, that we have a good number of Petrocarpus erinaceus in Senegal, which is Keno trees. But recently, deforestation, the conflict in Casamas, and then also the Gambia government's help in trading those timber, is reducing the population of the Petrocarpus in Senegal. So Senegal, in their national report to the Convention on International Trade on Endangered Species of Flora and Fauna, has been continuing mention that the Gambia is involved. The Gambia is helping those timber dealers that are illegally cutting down Keno in Senegal, and then shipping it out to China. So we are not doing a favor to Senegal. We are actually helping those people that Senegal considered as illegal timber traders that are using our country, because our law required it, because in 2018 is when the Forest Act was amended to include this re-export in the Forest Act. Because when Jammeh went away, there was some backlog of timbers that was left in our country. So you go to various areas in Combo, you see, a large quantity of woods, lying down somewhere in those areas. And they were all meant for export. But because, our Forest Act allowed it to be re-exported, more and more timbers are leaving Casamas now to come into Gambia, using us as a ground, like a holding ground for, for this timber.
So in other words, isn't there, some financial gain for Gambia in terms of because the Forest Act will not allow something that there is no potential gains for us to do.
Yeah, there is gain. And this is why we question, because now the Ministry of Environment, as far as we know, if you are a timber business, you want to get involved in this timber business, you pay a registration fee of $200,000, which is non-refundable. Whether you get the license or not, but you have to pay that $200,000 just to apply to become a timber exporter from Gambia, or to be a timber dealer in the Gambia. So that's a non-refundable fee of $200,000. But also, apart from that, they pay certain tax to the Forestry Department. When a particular timber company is accepted or approved by the ministry to export, now when you want to export timber, your container, the number of containers you are sending out, you pay that the licensing fee or the permit fee. That goes straight to the National Forest Fund. So that means the Department of Forestry, benefit from that tax that they pay. So that goes through us. So the Gambia's government is benefiting. We are not only benefiting from the timber registration fees, but also we pay the dealers also pay permit or licensing fee. So we are benefiting, yes. So
now it's looking at it from this view. Either our benefit of it, and then the Senegalese ban on it in terms of their legality. So in this case, we're gonna have to either look at our relationship with Senegal versus our benefits in this, in order for us to either also change our laws and ban it, or to move forward with it.
Yeah, that's why they in the press release, the Office of the President particularly mentioned that Section 113 of the Forest Act, because that is what is giving us powers to re-export. But in international level, we are breaking the law, because the Senegalese are saying those timbers are not acquired legally. So a timber that is not acquired legally, even though the Gambia government is benefiting from permit or licensing fee, we should not have allowed the timber to come to our country, because it is illegal where it comes from. And this is why the International Convention is protecting that particular, species of fauna, which is Keno. So Keno is internationally, has been on the appendix of the CITES Convention that this particular fauna, it is endangered species. And this is why Gambia and Senegal both need to protect it, because we are all parties to the convention of CITES to protect this endangered species. So even though our law requires to re-export of the CITES or whatever fauna it is, but where it has been acquired from, it is illegal. So this has been the issue that Senegal has been advocating and the environmentalists have been talking about, that we should not allow timber to be coming from other neighboring countries that were acquired illegally to come to the Gambia and then, allow it to re-export from our country. So we should not look at the financial gain that we are getting, but we should look at that we are breaking the international conventions, which both the Gambia and Senegal is a party to. So we should not have allowed it in the first place. Okay. Unless and until Senegal give authority or Senegal give a legal, authorization that those timbers are safe and then they are, something that are acquired illegally in Senegal so they can be re-exported from the Gambia. So this has been a concern. Yeah.
All right. So somebody, before I allow Njaka is on and Sam to come in so that we can move to the next topic. Somebody put a comment here, said we cannot police Senegal forest by stopping importation and exportation permit, showing Senegal is gaining.
Oh, he's saying we cannot stop the
he said we cannot police Senegalese forests by stopping importation and export permits, showing Senegal is gaining.
Yeah, we are not policing Senegal's forest for them, but this is an international convention that requires us as a party to that convention to stop it, unless we are able to verify that the timber coming from Senegal is actually legal. They acquired them legally. That means they went to the forestry department in Senegal and say, hey, I need 3 Kano trees to be cut. I want to export it. And then they went through the process of acquiring that license in Senegal. And then they bring it over to our country. That's fine. When they have a clear documentation, all we have to do is, if it is an endangered species, the Department of Parks and Wildlife, which is the focal point for CITES, and the Minister of Environment will have to issue, export license, CITES export license, that this tree has been acquired legally and it came through the Gambia legally, and then we are also giving them the permit legally to export this tree to wherever destination is going. So that license that they're going to obtain from the Gambia is what is going to be presented also in China or whatever country it is going, that this CITES particular fauna species has been legally obtained and then passed throughout them. But we are not policing Senegal's forest for them. But the international convention, is what the obligations of the international convention is what give us the obligation to act, because we are all party to those conventions, the 3 Rio Convention, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mfamara, for clarifying that. All right, so Njaka, welcome.
Welcome, guys. Sorry that I'm late. I was.
No, we understand.
Yeah, just came in.
Yeah. Thanks.
Good to be back. Sam, hello. Farmer Drame.
Hey,
yes,
Njaka,
how are you?
Good to see you again.
Good.
Yeah. So Njaka will.
Yes.
You're frozen.
Yeah, someone is frozen.
He's frozen. So.
Someone.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'll connect it in on another computer.
Yeah. No, I was saying that before we move to the other topic, where you're gonna spearhead that discussion, we wanna see if Sam has anything to say, or yourself.
Yeah. Real quick, I know Farmer has really gone into a lot of details in this one, and the little things that I'll add to this is, 2 wrongs do not make a right. Okay, so if it's illegal from Senegal, Senegal banned the timber trade there. And we're allowing the illegal timber coming from Senegal to be traded in Gambia or shipped in Gambia. I mean, that's wrong. I mean, that's hypocritical. You know, it's just like being a hypocrite, allowing people from Casamance getting the trees from Senegal, whether legally or illegally, we don't know. We don't have a way of verifying it, and allowing them to be traded and shipped from the Gambia. So, and that's why I said two wrongs do not make right. We should honor the treaty of the convention and also ban it. You know, that's it. That's the way to do it. And not only that, the other part is where is the money that we're collecting from this? Where is that money going? And has anybody at any given time, you know, really reconciled those funds to see that the Gambia is getting every budget out of it and nothing is going into somebody's pocket? I don't think we're doing that. I don't think we can verify that. So best thing would be, like I said earlier, before elections, I knew this is coming. I knew this would be coming. And that's why I said before elections, I said, whoever wins presidency really need to put an executive order and stop this that time, because it should have been stopped a long time ago. During Jammeh's time, it didn't get stopped. So somebody need to stop it. Otherwise, we're going to get ourselves into some issues and some problems. But anyway, at the end of the day, what is the solution here? We need to look at our National Assembly and say, National Assembly, how about look into this Forest Act and see what can we do to amend that act to make this illegal, so we can stop it. You know, that way we don't get in the middle of Senegal and Casamance, and we completely stay out of them and do the right thing. Like Mfamara said, not everything, every tree that comes through that get exported from Gambia came from Senegal or Casamance. There are some from Gambia too. So if we put a ban on this, you know, if I were the president, just like I said, it would have been an executive order and ban it for the next 5 years. Nobody does anything with trees, or at least 3 years, so we can take a deep dive into it and see what does Gambia benefit out of this. Is there any environmental impact on this? Is there any economical impact on this that we need to look at first, and then go back to it, you know, bring it back on the table and see what really can happen without any economical or environmental damage to our country. That's what we need to look at before it moves on. So I'm going to stop here. But I do want to thank Mfamara for all the contributions and the effort that he said about this. So thank you, Mfamara. And welcome, Jaga.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you,
So
sir.
Jaga, you can just pick it up from there, and then you can also spearhead the other discussion either way.
I found you talking about the timber trade problems between Gambia and Senegal. For me, I'm going to go in a general perspective of the problem is, there is a problem in Casamance when it comes to Casamance, that forest area, and most of it is political. You understand? Even I've been following this kind of timber problems on the Senegalese media, and I've gathered, I know a lot of things about it. And as I said, it is much more political than what people are seeing. You understand? And even the Senegalese authorities who wrote and who signed that the timber exports from Casamance or the forest are illegal, those people inside the government are the one facilitating that timber trade itself. It's a lot of money involved in it. You understand? So as I said, it is much more political than what people exactly are seeing. And those people, those Senegalese authorities trying to who put a ban on exporting those timber are the ones in themselves exporting the timber, that timber from the forest in Casamance. You understand? And that's why, like, in a general perspective, when it comes to Casamance, the rebellion and the timber trade there, it's all political. There are some people in the government who are responsible for that, because it's lost of millions and millions of dollars and millions of CFA. And by doing that, they are not doing it alone. To my understanding, they are in contact also. There are some people also in our government. I don't know whether the president is involved or aware or not. You understand, doing that illegal trading itself. Imagine no truck can leave that forest. No timber can be exported from that forest without authorities knowing about it. That's impossible. And that has been going on there. And the reason why today we are talking about it, it's when the Senegalese soldier mount, you understand, an operation in Casamas, you understand. And they say that it's because of, it started with the, it started with the timber problem. That's where it started with the timber problem. Salif Sadio caught some of the Senegalese soldiers who were there, on operations. That's why the problem started. So from there, people started talking about more the timber problems in Senegal. It started when Salif Sadio caught some of the Senegalese soldiers, you understand, and then they were negotiating until now, they left them. But it started from the Senegalese soldiers mounting an operation in Casamas until they got some kind of interaction with the rebels in there, you understand. So from there, Salif Sadio captured some of the soldiers, some of the rebels got, I don't know, dead or injured on some of the, so that's where all these problems started again. But the timber trade in Casamas have been going for ages, you understand, since the time of Senghor to Abdou Diouf to Abdoulaye Wade to Macky Sall right now. You understand? So right now, there is a kind of a thing in Senegal. Senegal is coming to a presidential election in 2004, and all these things are in play. You understand? So that's why I say that it's more of political that what people are saying. And this timber trade is not going to stop, no matter what people say or do, it's not going to say, because it runs deep down what we are thinking of or what we are saying right now. So it's not ever going to stop. You understand? So the only thing is, I don't know, but maybe if the rebellion in Casamance, maybe because right now right now I think that they are losing some grips of power in the forest. Maybe if that stops, that the timber trading can stop. But it is the rebels who are, some of them who are dealing with some government officials from Gambia and Senegal doing this timber business, because there is lots of money involved. Things that we are not seeing, because not a single timber can leave that forest without authorities knowing it. So it has been going for ages. That's my understanding about that timber trade.
Okay, thank you so much, Njaga. So that comes to that, brings us to the end of that discussion. Now we can transition into the discussion that Njaga is going to spearhead, which is the youth's involvement in democracy and then the rule of law. So welcome, Njaga. You have the floor.
Yeah, it wasn't something like the reason why I came up with this, like when I see around Africa, Senegal, Mali, Guinea, Conakry, other countries like Ghana, you understand. Now you come to maybe even some, when it comes to the Eastern African side, I see this generation, that my generation, your generation, our generation, how they are fighting, how they are trying to uphold, you understand, what belongs to them, how they are trying to fight for what belongs to them, you understand. And this kind of fighting and this kind of to be, because of, since we have been colonized, we have been going through this neo-colonialism. So now I see some countries in Africa who are trying to fight back there for independence, and to be independent when it comes to their natural resources, when it comes to financially, their political views and ideas, and their territorial independence. So I don't see that much of in Gambia, you understand. So I'm kind of doubt why is it that, like, and I think that Gambia is more in a situation to fight for things like that, you understand, because of our country is declining every single day that we wake up. So when we say that 60% of the population, you understand, is below 40 years of age, and these people are not trying to, maybe they don't understand how to uphold their democracy, their sovereignty, their human rights, and their resources, and all those things. So it's kind of like, where are we heading to us, about this generation? Where are we going to be in 20 years time, 30 years time, 40 years time? Where are we going to be? What are we fighting for? What do we want in the future? So it's kind of a lot of questions involved in it, So I thought that it was something that maybe we can share, and people can learn a little about it, of how to, that country, that it belongs to us, and it is only us who can change it, not the government, but us, because we impose that change.
Yeah. So that is very good, Jaka. You came up with that thought. I think I agree, and many of these panelists here would agree that we have a huge population of youth, and then they are not being used effectively. And then their involvement the development, in the democracy, political atmosphere, and then the rule of law is very, very essential, not only even now, but years to come. So I think, it is a very good topic to discuss and to look at. Yeah, but my first question is, what do you think is lacking when it comes to youth involvement? What is stopping them?
Okay, for me, first of all, for me, like Gambia, as I said, when it comes to politics, we are far behind than our neighbors. You understand? When it comes to politics and how we run politics and how us, how we follow politics, you understand? When it comes to the leaders we choose, what we need in our country, what is not going, what can we have more, what are we having less, you understand? What is the government not doing and telling you and doing, the priorities exactly, when it comes to our country, what are the priorities, you understand? People need to understand that and fight for that. So if we don't understand our priorities and left everything like, yalla bahna, no, it's a problem. Even Islam, when it was coming, you understand, God is the creator of every human being and everything. Well, but Islam, it was fought. That's why today it is how it is today. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam fought for Islam, fought Islam to be where it is today, to be how it is today. You understand? God can do, could have done anything he wants. He could have put iman in everybody's soul and everybody's heart for us to be Muslims from day one. Everybody in this world, and if you are not a Muslim, God can kill you in any second, at any second or something. No. But there's a reason for that. There are some things that we need to fight for. You understand? So that fighting spirit, that energy, where it comes from, who is going to, you understand? And we need somebody also with a clear plan and a project who we can go and fight with, you understand? We need someone, maybe a political leader with a clear vision, with a clear project, you understand? That everybody will see itself in it. Let's take an example about, let's say Senegal. They have today, the reason why I always take Senegal as an example, right? Everybody is Africa is taking them as an example because of that political leader there, Ousmane Sonko, because of the things that he is fighting for, our territorial sovereignty, you understand? Our natural resources, how to save them, how to conserve them, because of he's with this kind of project that they don't care who is or what he gives to the people. It's the Senegalese people giving him money for his campaign, for his food, for his security, for his everything. And if the government tries to do anything on him, try to liquidate him or something, it's the Senegalese people who stand up and fight for him and defend him. It's not about him as a person, because it's the project that he is withholding. He came with this kind of slogan, this kind of project that everybody in Senegal knows that if we give our country to this man, all of us will live a better life than we are living today. So those kind of political atmosphere and strategy that we lack in Gambia. So everything is sitting down like yalla bahna. If anybody is there, it is okay because of nyom nyepayem. No. Nyom nyepayem. There are people who can change the country. There are people who can make our country better because of not these political leaders that I'm seeing from the government, because of sometimes I see them, they have no clue of what they are even doing. They don't even know the priorities. You understand? It's just like they are leading our country blindly. They are not seeing. They are not even listening. Because of, I think that if they were listening, at least they would have done better. Gambia is declining, honestly speaking, and is declining faster than I ever thought that it's going to be. And it's a problem. It's like new and the problem also with Gambian is like everybody is trying to take care of luma dugal suma post, wala luma dugal suma chin, wala luma dugal suma kir. Problem because of today, when we get up and fight, we are not fighting for ourselves. We are fighting for our children coming. We are fighting for our grandchildren. If our grandparents fought for us yesterday, today we will not be in this situation. So all of us should know that we are in a situation and a position that to fight for our children in a way that our grandparents and parents haven't fought for us. You understand? And by doing that, we need a clear project. We need a clear plan. We need a leader
So your drive here is that the youth's problem is the leadership.
We have a leadership problem. Who can come with a clear project that can, a project that can be that can get into everybody's mind and heart. That is the problem we have in Gambia for years.
So this you mean all the leaders we had? None of these people could
not the ones, because of when somebody is talking by heart, a patriot, trust me, a patriot is very, very easy to see. And but because of you cannot come and you can come and be an imposter, imposing that you are a patriot. But when you move 2 steps further, people will know that no, you are going there or you are doing this for your own self-interest. You understand? When you are a patriot, everything has to be a priority to you except yourself. So look at the political leaders that we are having right now.
So Jawara don't have this. Jammeh
No,
don't have
Jawara,
this.
no,
Don't have
we are talking about the 21st century. The things that were hidden before are not hidden anymore because of social media, because of technology. You understand? Things that our former leaders were doing and things that have been hidden that people don't know about or are not aware about. Now we are seeing and knowing everything. So we have everything in our hands now to change things. So it is us. So when it comes to Jawara and all those things, that time of Jawara, we were still in neo-colonialism. It was the British having a say in our country. At that time, it was
and now we have
as I said, in Gambia, we have this kind of problem. It's all about, since Jawara until now, what we put in our pockets, what we put in our cooking pots, and what we're gonna take home. Not taking care of the general thing, not overseeing the general aspect of the future. But we are just seeing today. So that's why in terms of Jawara, like food was cheap, everything was cheap, even though there was no much infrastructure, good infrastructure. We were okay. As I said, it's all about our stomachs.
Okay, there is one comment here for you. I would like you to hear that before you go, because I'm looking at this thing. I agree with Njaga. We young Gambians, we have a lot to learn, and we have to take responsibility for that, for our kids' future.
Exactly. You understand, because of when you talk about revolution, when it comes to change, you understand, it is never a change, and revolution has never ever happened by just sitting down or to the ballot votes. Never. It happens at the end when the people have fought for exactly until everybody knows that yes, now the people are aware we can't do this and here are our limits, because of it is us to set limits for them. But when we just sit, they have no limits. They just do whatever they want to do.
Okay.
So it's up to us to set limits for them that you can.
All right. So let's allow Famara and Sam come in and then kind of see what to comment or refute about Njaga's Njaga's claim here.
I can go in because I'm on a time crunch here. By 1 o'clock, I need to sign off. But I couldn't agree more with Njaga. What he said is the real fact. It is true, and our youth in Gambia really need to be involved in this. And one way to do that is really youth need to be involved in politics. Politics is the key, because that's where you're going to see what really need to happen. And this is where you can also identify leaders that can come, or that will come with a vision. What Njaga is saying is basically the vision. Who is that leader that has the vision for the country to move the country forward and forget about himself? Look at the country. What can you do for your country? What can you do to move the country? How can we really have a good governance system in place that is going to cater for the future of the Gambia, which is very inclusive, it's for everybody. And by holding a leader that's going to hold himself accountable, then hold everyone accountable, so that every butut, every dime that this country makes stays in Gambia. And a leader that is going to fight corruption by fighting, by not only allowing himself to be corrupted, but not allow anyone in his government to be corrupted, by setting examples and letting everyone in his administration know that corruption will be something that we will deal with at a very high level. Anyone that is caught with corruptive activities will be arrested, prosecuted, and taken to jail. Set those good examples so that Gambian people know we mean business. This is something that is true to our country. This is how we can move our country forward, by having a leader with a vision that is going to include the youths, because the youths are going to be the leaders tomorrow. We need to build that foundation for them today. Not today, it's already late, but it's better late than never, so we can start now by getting that leader that has that vision, that's going to come in and look at what are the key priorities for our country and focus on those priorities for the countries. Now, on the other part is the youth getting involved in politics is very, very important. We should not allow ourselves to be sitting at home and let people tell us what is happening. We need to know what is happening. We need to demand answers. We need to hold our representatives accountable, because our representatives are the people that we elect and vote for them to go to the National Assembly, because the National Assembly has very important functions. And 3 of those functions include make good laws for our country. That's 1. Pass our national budget or approve our national budget. That's 2. And the 3rd one is to hold the government accountable, to make sure things are done correctly. If not, raise your hand and question why. Why? Stop. Take a time out. Let's find the answer. Who did what? What is wrong here? Let's find those answers and hold those people accountable. If we start to do that as youth and get involved in politics real good and understand what politics is and understand what is happening in the government and question anything that should be questioned and find the answers until we get to the bottom of it, to hold the government accountable, to make sure that perpetrators are dealt with according to the law. Once we start to do things in the right order, then we will see our country start to move forward. And that's the kind of leadership we need. A leader that's not going to look into anybody's eyes. It doesn't matter who you are. Don't look into anybody's eyes. Follow the truth. Rule by example. And of course, lead by example as a leader, and do the right thing for the country. That's how we can move the country forward.
Yeah, Sam. Before Famara come in, question to you and Jaga. We're talking about we need this leader, but anytime new leadership are coming, we say this is this leader. What happened after this leader? Because when we are having this new dispensation, we all came together and said this is this leader. So what happened?
Well, what happened is
why did you want to so cool that the Mbuka news today?
Well, what happened is the youths in us, we are allowing the wrong people to lead by listening to people that are influencing us. And we have youths in the Gambia that are allowing political leaders supply them with funds to be able to solve today's problem without looking at what is the future about this, and say no to all of those corruptions and say, you know what? I am going to look for the leader that has the character, the leader that has the leadership skill to lead a country. That is what I'm going to look for, and follow that leader by really getting involved in politics. And when you get into politics and you follow the day-to-day activities of politics, we have, from election to election is 5 years. There's plenty of time to identify the correct leader. And not fall into any political gimmicks, not fall into anything that's anyone is going to fool you. If we know who our leader is, a leader that is going to be content with what they have and not looking for anything else other than lead the country and steer this country in the right direction, so that it will be a future for all Gambians.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, Sam.
Yeah,
Famara,
let
you can come in.
Jaga,
you want to respond?
Thank you. Oh, he wants to respond. Okay,
no,
go ahead.
Famara, let Famara after later,
Okay, thank you, Jaga. Thank you so much for your wonderful contribution. You actually hit the head and nail on the head. Sam, thank you. I think in our country, particularly Gambia, we are not a very good example to our youths. And then I think we need to start investing in our youths to become, good leaders in the future, And then there are a lot of factors Jaga highlighted them, because we are not looking at the general perspective of our prioritizing our issues. People are only focused on their interests and what benefits them. That's mainly when people see themselves in a position of power or in politics. That's what they mainly look at, and then we have very, very good examples that we can always quote. But it is about time that the youths, the level of understanding is improving from the last 5 years to now. And we have seen a lot of youth involvement in politics now, vying for public offices. We have seen that improvement now, but still, it is still lacking. And then we have to invest in our youths, and the government has to play a central part in this, in helping our youths and then invest in our youths. And this doesn't only stop in Gambia, but also across Africa, because this is what we need to look at for our continent to grow. Our youths are our future leaders. So if they are so desperate in the countries, in their respective countries, that they only think joining the political leadership or joining the political party helping is only way out that the youth can benefit in terms of nation development, then obviously that is going to be a huge, huge problem. And we have seen this recent problem that happened in Morocco or in whatever at the border, those migrants trying to cross and how they've been treated. Obviously, it always put our fingers back to our government. Why are we allowing our youths, to venture in those kind of journeys? Why can't we help them invest on them, provide more skill training centers for them so that we can prepare them to become good leaders in the future, But the politicians are not good examples because they are using youths in a way that we all know, it's not right. You only youths come to the youths when it is time for you to vie for a position or you need their votes. It's when you come and utilize them, in whatever ways you think is okay with you, or that is whatever ways that you can afford to help those youths, to help you get to where you want to go. That's the only time that we come to the youths. But when the youths are educated, when the youths are well sensitized, they know their rights, as citizens, no politician will be able to fool them. Nobody can fool them because, like Sam said, between 5 years and 5 years is enough time to identify who is a good leader, And when the youths are prepared to face those challenges and then take up leadership position and become responsible citizens, we have to invest in them. And then this is what the government is failing to do. And this is what we are not prioritizing, what our development needs are. We only focus on infrastructural development, good roads. Yes, they are good. But when we don't prepare our youths to become good leaders in the future, those infrastructures we are putting in place are not going to be sustainable because there will be no human resources, qualified or experienced human resources for that matter, to be able to look into those infrastructural development. So Njaga said, we have to do exactly and then hold these leaderships accountable and then make good use of our youths, and the youths become more responsible and participate in national development. Just to say and categorize all politicians to be the same, or they are all the same, we're not going to board ourselves. Obviously, there are good ones, just like Njaga said. So the experience of the past politicians that you went through, that you're trying to quote as a reference for categorizing all politicians or everybody the same, that I think we should graduate from that. We should definitely graduate from that and then take up responsibility and then, hold our leaders accountable where they go wrong and not allow ourselves to be used by politicians, in a wrongful way that is not in the interest of our country. So I think that's very, very important here. So thank you. That's my contribution.
Yeah.
I think someone is muted.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
So for me, it's all about patriotism. Like patriotism is our problem in our country.
Yeah.
No, love of our country. I think it's the problem. Like when you hold even youth, I'm a youth man, and I'm a Gambian. So like when you just live around people, you see know exactly their mental level of how they see the Gambia. You understand? For Gambian youth, for them to be rich, you have to get out of Gambia. So then that means that you have no hope in your own country. So that's lack of patriotism too, in a way that you don't even realize that. Because of if you don't do it, I don't do it, he doesn't do it, who's going to do it? People from outside are going to come and do it. That's what we are seeing in the Gambia. You understand? Because we don't do it. You understand? There is nobody who is going to, who will file somebody maybe my urinating on the road or throwing trash on the road, and somebody who will try to stop him or her. No, nobody does that. You understand? It's like Gambia, we can do whatever we like because of the people who are there to protect our institutions are the most corrupt. You understand? And anywhere there is corruption, there can't be any rule of law or governance or being a patriot or respecting exactly your rights and what you should do and what you should not do. Until we all Gambians are policies and fire services and doctors and nurses and all those things, the Gambia will not work. It won't go. We all have to be involved in everything. That because of it's not just about 10 or 15 people working in the government. They don't care about us. So it is time for us to care about ourselves. You understand? It is only us who can bring change to our country. And it's the Gambia too. We have this kind of thing like if we don't start charging people for corruption, you understand? You understand? If you don't have an institution going out 100% for corruption and with no mercy, things will never change. Okay, let us see this TRRC. Yes, there was some corruption scandal when it comes to, but it was only when it was directed to Yaya Jammeh and the central bank and stuff like that. It was all about killings and all those things here, Yeah, torture, killings, and all those things. They are all against human rights and they are war crimes. But corruption is also a war crime in another end because of it is corruption involves directly our lives. People are dying because of hunger. People are dying because of there are certain people out there, a few people who, who are keeping our resources just to themselves. People are dying out of that. People are going to hospital and dying out of that. People are having road accidents and dying because of we don't have correct road networks. And it's not because of there's no money in the country. There is money in the country, but there is this small part of people who are controlling these things. So those are the things that are leading people to be dying at the hospital because of not enough medical care or not enough good hospitals. People dying on the roads, people dying on the sea, at our beaches because of there is not much of security. So all the things are involved because of corruption. Because when the money is not going where it should go, then there will always be problems. So our patriotism in our country is the biggest problem. When I become jealous, when I see Senegal, like, how youths are, ready to die for someone, who they don't even know because of he just come with a certain project and a vision and an idea. People are willing to die for him. Even if you are in the government, working in the government, you understand, and they and you get liquidated because of you say something good about that political leader. You understand? It is the people who raise money for you, about 20 million francs CFA, 30, 50 million francs CFA, and give it to you, something that you can survive it for years, even though you are not political leader, but you are trying to defend a project and you get sacked from it. It's the Senegalese people who organize a fundraising for you. They have done it for lots of people because they are defending a certain kind of a project that they know that because of in 2 years' time, they will start exploring their gas and petrol and all those things. So that's what they are. They want to protect. You understand? Because they know that when they're protected, they don't need to travel or die in Morocco or in Spain or, this illegal immigration. That's what they are fighting for. And to do that, you have to, you have to do something for those people who are ready to, some people, they go, they try to migrate illegally. They don't care whether they live or they die. Come on, when those people have something to hold them in their country, they're going to sit. You understand? Because going to an open sea, you don't know whether you're gonna be dead or alive. It's not something somebody brave, and it takes a bit of a big courage to do that. I can't do that. I'm not going to do that. Even if I'm going to suffer in Gambia until I die, I can't do that. I don't think.
Okay, Njaga.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't you think that also Western influence?
No. Okay, Gambia, we are the luckiest when it comes to Western influence because of, why? Gambia don't have someone like France. The French-speaking country have more problems when it comes to Western influence because of France have direct influence when it comes to their economics and politics. Direct influence. We don't have that in the Gambia. We are in the Commonwealth. The British don't have direct influence in our politics and our economics. So it's us. It's us, Gambia. Others, the other people, they are fighting to liberate themselves 100% from France and the colonizers. Us, we are not fighting for that. You understand? Because we don't even have much for them to come and influence us. We don't have much. So the only thing is the little that we have to make it something. So that's our problem. And to do that, we need leaders who are patriot, who will love the country more than they love themselves. You understand? That's not easy to find. We have youths here coming in the system, but 90% of that is all about money and fame. You understand? I know lots of them. It's about money and fame. Or they can be a patriot from one day, and the second day they are in the government, they forget about everything they were fighting for.
Yeah.
So that's the change.
Yeah. So my understanding of this is that in order to get our youth successfully, I mean to be successful, we need to have incentives for them. We need to have, you know, opportunities for them.
No, for me, what I am saying is not even, it has nothing to do with those leaders. It's me, I'm talking to us, me as a, you understand, me as a Gambian, me as a patriot, me as a youth. I'm talking to the youths, them directly, not them, those people, because of, look, for them, it is okay for us to be dumb, ignorant, and all those things, because of that's how they manipulate us, that's how they do their things. It's okay for them. How we are right now, okay, with everything that they do, we are not doing anything, we are not demonstrating, we are not manifesting, we are not striking, you know, we are not trying to fight for this and this and this. They are okay with it. So it's not about them. I'm talking about those leaders. No, it's about us, we. It is in every us as a patriot or as a Gambian to start and fight for your country, for your kids, for your future and their children. It is us. I'm not talking about those. With them, things will never change. Never. So within us, someone who is a patriot, who has a vision, you understand, and a project should come and stand forward and stand so that, and not just stand and talk. You have to bring something meaningful on the table. You understand? And you cannot just start today and think that the following day people will follow you. No, it's a long project. You understand? You start from somewhere. Maybe you will start from 2, 3, 4, 5 people following you. You understand? You don't know where it's. The problem is that's the problem. We have people who come into the political scene and they, maybe a few months later or 1 year, they go to elections and they just have 5 people and they get discouraged. That's the problem. This is the problem. The patriotism is our problem. You understand? Ñun mënuñ xeex bu gudda ñun xeex bu gàtta lañ am ñun dañuy départu gaynde
and then also we are short of vision also. We don't
vision, like that kind of fighting spirit, you know, keep on fighting up to the end. No. ñun we just start, okay, ñu am benn ñaari nit bu ñu discourage rek pare nañ ci waa ñu ngi lijjanti waa leneen so kañ so ñun loolu mooy suñ problème ñun amuñ dat gaynde grip boo xam ne dañoo dem ba jeex bi Gambien bi mooy problème bi. Swing sports is a problem. Football, low munti gis Gambia, dembe jeex bi is a problem. So dembe jeex nak ñun moy suñ problem. Dañu war dembe jeex.
Yeah, that's why we need a leader with that vision. A leader that has that ideology.
Exactly. Because of you have some young political leaders right now. They don't care being jailed. They even say it. I don't care whether I'm jailed or death. You understand? When you say that, you are not even protecting yourself. You know, the population is the one who is going to protect you. You understand? You have to have the kind of bravery and courage and determination to go up to the end.
Yep.
And by doing that, because of energy, you know, I don't know how to say it in science. Energy attracts energy. You're just like a magnet. You understand? When you are a leader with this kind of energy, people will follow you with that kind of energy. And you know, so that's it. It's us. It's all us.
Thank you, guys. I'm gonna have to sign off and
yeah, I'm so sorry.
But a great conversation, Jaga. Thank you. You're on the right track here.
You too. Thank you.
Definitely. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Sam. Thank you for that.
Sure.
So Njaga, this pitch, I mean, this self love for the country, fighting for the country, fighting for the country spirit. Why is it that it's still not, Gambians haven't still, especially the youth, what is stopping us from developing this? Because if you look at Kenya, Kenya succeeded. Kenya succeeded now because they came to the table and say, you know what, Let's leave our difference behind. Let's leave our tribal, our status and everything behind. Let's put our hand on the table. Let's figure out how to help our country. They have no mineral resources. The only thing the only thing they're getting funding from is collecting taxes effectively and making sure they close all the tax loopholes, you know, and make sure that the revenues come. And
that's what I'm talking about. You know, I talked about corruption. As long as until we start to prosecute people very seriously when it comes to corruption, the country will never ever be okay. You have to set examples. Corruption is a crime. Just like rape and all those things, killings, murder. Corruption is a crime. It's the biggest scandal here in Europe. Everybody knows it. You people know it. You are in the US. You are out of here. You know how corruption does.
I know politicians go to jail because of corruption. Yeah.
Yeah. No, not just jail, because of it destroys your credibility and your it destroys everything because of, like, you know. That's why I say that our country, we are not aware because of patriotism is our
and Gambia, if you are corrupt, they think it's a barakata.
Yeah, no, Gambia. No, Gambia, my problem, as I said, we have to understand first of what, if you have to fight, what are you going to fight for? That's the problem. And how are you going to fight it? So these two things, if you don't understand what to fight for and how to fight it, we will never ever get up and fight. Because if you know how to fight for, then it's by knowing what you are having and what you are lacking and what you should have and not having, that you know exactly what to fight for and how to fight for it. Is it going to be on the streets or is it going to be on papers? That's the two things. And now, as I said, revolution and change is never fought on papers. Never. You understand? It's never fought on papers. People go out and fight for it by and force. You're right.
Yeah,
you don't negotiate it. You take it by and force.
Yeah, change don't
You're
come
right.
to
You don't negotiate it. You don't beg for it. You take it by and force. What is you and what you should have as a citizen, you should have it by and force. It's not negotiable. And unless also we stop, like, clapping our political leaders because of they build a hospital or a road or one traffic light or one street light. It's their job to do it. We put them there to do it. We give them taxes. We give them our taxes. Give them our votes, our time. We enrich them to do it. So how about you about that? There is no thank you. We should stop that. So
how about some of us who treat our political leaders as gods? Yeah, you know,
that's the same thing. You know, because of nit ki ne mom bour mom yalla suñu borom mom mo koy tan alalake waye tamit alalake bobu nonu taxul mu ñew nek bour sen kaw de. He's our servant. No matter who is there is our servant. You understand? Yalla suñu bopam mo gëna démocratie ñep te ñun ñep mom mo ñu saka. Ya nga understand? Waye ku ci nekk daf la jox lo wara mom te tegut kenn lu mu attanut. Te bu ko neexoon loo def naka sudul noonu mu xëy mu rey la waaye defewu ko noonu. So ñun suñu problème mooy ñun nañ stop di tàccul politicians yi ci lu ñoo def ndax dañ ko war a def. It's their duty. It's their duty. Dañoo liggéey comme police officer bi nu moo liggéey from 8 to 4 comme nit ki nu moo demee marché di jaay from 8 to 6. Comme keneen
we have a guest in the house, Abdul Karim Sonko. So we can also allow him. Yeah, go ahead, Njaka, once you finish.
Yeah, so it's about like so from you change your mindset towards these politicians, and then from there we will try and work on how to change things. But first of all, it's our mindset of how we see these politicians, seeing them as servants rather than as gods or just like that. They are servants. They're there to work for us.
Well, this also contradicts our deen, you know, because some of these interpreters of our deen are saying that then you are not, a perfect Muslim or something like that.
No.
But this is a big, this settings are
coming out. Même sa jëkkër bi ngay sey sax ni jigéen ngay sey sax ñu naan la sa aljana sa loo tànku jëkkër la nekk bu la digale lu dul lu yàlla soppa dañ la ne bàyyi ko fa. Kon nag waxuma laa koo xam ne nag nit la rek comme man koo xam ne dafa ñëw nax ñu nekk fa di lekk suñu xaalis ba pare bugga man ma toppa ko déedéet loolu duma ko def. So do lekk suñu xaalis yow da nga fa nekk pour nga liggéey because of yow we have given you the opportunity yow jox nañ la soldier jox nañ la security jox la suñuy soldat jox la suñuy police jox la suñu xaalis jox la suñu autorité jox la suñu loi constitution everything yow nit ñi desalatuñ la dara yow kay liggéey rek moo la war kon yow kenn waratu laa tàcc yow kay yaa war a ñëw naan ñu jërëleen jëf ci li ngeen ma jox waaye du ñun ñoo war a dem naan la jërëjëf ci li nga def so loolu mooy problème bi nag so foog ñu contradict suñu boppa ci yooyu noonu suñu bëggee yéega ci beneen level bi.
Yeah, okay. So I think we had that side. So let's allow Mr. Sonko to come in. Welcome, Mr. Sonko.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam.
I'm content to to introduce me in this meeting. But he's saying a good point. Yalong Dino is there to guide us.
Exactly.
Leaders on Norma. Hanatra they are black people or people from Abyssinia. I will for but a monkey called leaders on Mumbentul Bulu today. Yeah, and if I come over me along pointing is a very important point. Ning leaders on Kabulul Kosie. What rantulanga equipment on ying fengol betange dilela pour ye lead and numfana ye dadake nyanta mundadala so akamundale fe wo fen dadaje ntollengo kodo nyin dilela ntollengi plawo plasola ntol manyana ke jamu wala potendi ni silol dada ne bridgeol dada ne public utilities like Kamol and in good me Marcel Wolsipal wol manke koyto lo dada nyanta wala dada ni mo dada nyante kajafilal so
okay.
Those very important, but I call a political awareness. Especially people in Africa, especially Gambia, Bombola Kofokang, Molman political awareness, Imalo ila nyaton kol mumunti. Tonya long I move for Fanang, put in the new Mosita, Isafonoloko Alale Asindije. Habare Alalaka Mosin, Domutonya, Mansea Alalaka di Mola. But a Mansea Fana near Dilela, rules all Fanan Bijela Mialo Mole Nyanta Lola, Kajeko. Na nyinke mansate nyami anyanta tambila nyatula because ko nyaton ko ngamum fo kila sallallahu alaihi wasallam nyanto ko la bela nyaton koti bara ala fango nyine fa ka ko ni masura ke wala masura consultation o ke ni la own people concerning things mu yalong abe fango le affect so nintol nata nga mansa sol so mu yalong they are dictating even nakodo tale ba kele mundiate nyanta mol sutulal muyalo nyanta lola ye good advice dilela pour is a good governance ke pour mobe te nafa soto je se mira amanke biti niaje in the western world dol bebe in the western world they are thinking about 10 years ahead 20 years ahead 30 years ahead 40 years ahead time muyalo tol fonte tara baluri bare ke mira le be fengol darala no nyame muyalo mol mum binala is a nafa soto je ndol do we are lacking that I want to mention muyalo corruption be caring bakele wo fanan the same thing no political awareness lo wo beti because niaji be corruption lo you and I will be contributor in the corruption in Africa me example o dilela ni natre kata passport ota instead of going through the legal channel a passport okay ibe la
moro ni ofo eventual bele mala wala di
yes
we all contribute in this country corruption of Mumbije, Gambia, and which is very sad. Not the driver's license, $850. Iko hani, mbadunga na morning amamotono, mbadunga nga 1,000 or the 200 or 2,000 fang. Don't be 3,000 fandi.
Don't guys from Kolka ke back. Don't guys from Kolka ke back.
Amamotono mbadunga 3,000 or diala. Puru ye tai lansino diala. Ni otata mo fasilo kayalo. Ndolbe contributor la jang in the western world jamale betala ka kodo di mola preta DMP ye lansino soroje for example so wala nan ka fon ndolbe contributor in this corruption olla muyalo nyanta trial the other thing left to come mention Gambia is so sad sign drugs contraband drugs like cocaine heroin and many other things like prostitutions muyalo wolbe aka banko nyi niaji be sabo nyi manke part of the politics but aka banko nyi ala nyato taka wala murundi koma big time a country will not develop ni youth soul they are involved in drugs Youth soul, they are involved in, in prostitution and many other things. Wol nyanta trial le natra se committee de ranole on body de rano Gambia je muyale be sense society so kela ka more awareness about this filth. Muyalo ngabe banko ni murundi kan koma bakele because these are all corruption. Muyalo nyanta trial ka boni na banko to natre ko ngata nyat. Ndanga nyin contribution also lapto ka mum la faje ala baraka bat.
Yeah, Mr. Sonko, and bina like need to be na janjuna area dollar many for, but before Famara comes, because in order to make the debate fair and plain, we have to actually come. But thank you for your contribution. You kuma kilim for iko dino ko inkila ko nalida surunga bule noma. That was inkila la time.
Yes.
But saying ila leader soul. Ning ada yalong ko ila leader so I meant for is not among correct. Should we do it or not? Or
No,
I mean among correct. Should we in Sajapal or not?
Absolutely, we should not do it.
We should not go by it.
Yes, mumbije rek nyaje kila ko ngabula la niro noma. Fitino aka boru wala. Fitino yalo ala fango yo fo alquran o ko fitino bole warta faroti. So if I fitino ni country kono ni moment peace soto blood rank ako fitino le warta so ni blade la leader noma nala time o sita be bola jele bare na ku ko yalon amanye na kila mu yalon abe fitino le na fela o mu yala manke to nyati mu yala na fati jate mol manye na baralal
Okay.
Yes.
So another thing is because of political unawareness some people would accept iba follow ko ha mansa le nyinke. Okay, but mansa ni tara campaign la ka fole ko ni bil men lota jang ya jamele yake ni hospital men lota jang ni ne yake. So how come after 50 years after independence ndola mo understand no what is wrong with us? Because ni tol malon ko mansa ka anything spent it comes from the public of cover. Mansa man could manufacture on his own. And then I access to anything because of the position that he is at. Why is our people not understanding that? Until Ndolman Mano Sorojang, Barole Mano Dina. Ndolman, Fenko Sorojang, Faro Sorojang, Barole Faro Dina. Why is it that our people are not so that is my concern. After 50 years, how come what kind of information do we need to communicate to in them for them to know that this man is using our resources because he's supposed to do that? That's his job. I mean, he can probably do better. When he do his job better, we should give him credit, Cody. If he do better, we should give him credit, but we shouldn't say that, No.
Yeah.
So that communication, that is the problem there.
Yeah, if you let me learn, yalong we are nangofo, yalong jela na political understanding to this level. Kalon and you for yalon anu diam the same thing. A political understanding alone. So moment na problem of the Africa, especially Gambia, wolom education balia. Molman karang balia is a big problem. Ngavo mole enko ko bitilo la natran to become the president of the Gambia. Nga example le dilela. Dinding kinenti da karam atda mecho nila. Namang at least grade 12 for bank or grade 6 on bank. You must able to read and write. Every citizen of the Gambia, if able to read and write, read and write, but you will be able to understand the English language. For karano ye fanapano at least karamola. Because any bitilo ni muntara mecho ni. Ika moljere kata ika fitayani, ika welding ni, ika kapinteyani. Nyulbe bijele nyulbe karangole ni. So ni haramadingo man karang. It's a big problem. If you think that education is expensive, try not being educated.
Ignorance is more expensive than.
Or try not able to read and write. So near mira somanda ita will take or take a dingo yaka ko mako iba lafta lamine kola. Sutra besino like I ko lamina nombale. sinini ka ko ko lamin pango nyanta ko do kila isake abe batale bulle because if ko be bata mun ke kan ila lack of education, just you cannot read and write, just simple ABC mi alo anna that grade 10 so no ibe bata mun sotola gole water not karanta. So but the most important thing mun be batandi kanje wala lack of education oti Africa lack of education o yem batandi bakele. So new countries so mi alo kwe the man mentioned about Kenya people are really aware of, and people are education. I think I read an article, and I think the oldest man to go to school, he came from Kenya. He's an elderly, I think an 86-year-old man at other school, because the importance of education. Wole atina anunje ye adult education also to learning many other things, just to drive ignorance. So Africa, ninga karamo keno nga karamo wotola mbalonna na leader solve military anim fanang ila capabilities anim fanang na potential. That's the only way we can get.
Okay, thank you. So I'm in favor if you want to comment, because Mr. Sonko really got me hot a little bit. So go ahead, Famara.
Yeah, thank you so much. Like Jaga said, Dembeje. Problem no?
Yes.
So we have to teach the younger generation to be yeah, Gambia bit of they tell a give up si real bidal, that they tell a give up. Kubuga def dara tuti sa dang they dembe buga start something da wala nga xamne da li may def small waragal la pour def ko. While leji, you even give up so quickly about the country. Lolo Paneka. So they will
tell you Gambia dal, but they will tell you Gambia dal, but
yeah, Gambia dal, yeah. Yeah, and then you soccer defoot, can defoot go, man defoot go, can do go nobody will there. So that thing will continue perpetuating, for a long time, and nobody will do something about it. Solo Limburg started. I think this how do they call it where the kids go through this national duty or national service. I think we need to introduce that. Once you finish grade 12, once you finish grade 12, before you go to college, at least spend 1 year on national services where, you'll be taught about the constitution of the Gambia. They'll tell you about being a patriotic, all about the history, a little bit about the history of the Gambia, the people who fought where we are, and then all of those things, because we are liking that. Our younger generation must know. And our politicians are not very good example. The kids are learning from politicians. They think what the politicians are doing is the right thing to do. Just come into the politics, fool people, make yourself
politics
rich,
is for money.
You go build houses, and then because that's all they see. This is why even somebody like Jaga said, somebody from grade 12, all he's thinking is how to cross the river or the ocean to go to another country, to make money. Because that's what they think is the only thing. Do am dara fi Gambia, fi do fi am dara mandama dem Europe ma ñew ma tabax suba kër ma am ma defense ma be pré ma employ if somebody have that mentality
li ngeen don bañ Gambia di ko fi def
exactly. Yeah, so the politicians are also saying mandama duga si politics make something and I come in, because that's what we've seen the last 5 years. Those who went into politics, they all have built mansions. Because they are deceiving people, because they don't care about the government. So long as what is to their interest, they don't care about our country anymore. So I think I fully support Daga on that side. So Abdul Karim Abarakabake, your contribution is also good, because corruption of Gambia and will contribute. You can drive a license, pull me for any passport, pull me for one way or the other. Being a trial either in a desperate situation, try to help ourselves or our family. We all contribute in that kind of corruption. And that's what we need to change. System of control. And this is why, we cannot even control who is having our passport, our national document. We don't know. Because it will be menla ko wala nyanta ko document control wala ka di molle min yalon ko they are not eligible. So if I sign what belongs to the country, then the molle bo resources will say they are not eligible. They're not supposed to be.
All because of political interest.
Yeah, all because of politics. Yeah. Ning carte fay wado sinase if am ka politician ka mo support anale carte fanya but hana tra o mari ita fa yalo nako among eligible pour ko kaito nyusoro but because near Markway, a better Markway applicated in the office of so you'll go extra length to go marry Markway, you know, abe kaito stolen nyame. So yeah. So del fangolom problem you make a problem before. No Gambian bidal, you know, I mean national service.
So we our leader have a problem, but we also have
we also have a problem. Yeah, because you see a leader that you know that definitely what he's doing is not correct, but because he's related to you, or maybe one way or the other has helped you before, or maybe he's a close neighbor, or maybe it's a family member. So you'll go and support somebody who is doing something that is completely against our national interest, but because you want to go and help, because one way or the other, you have a direct interest in what he does or what he has done before. So, yeah, we have to change, man. We have a lot of way to go, but we have to change, and this all starts from now. You know?
I don't know. I just hope that there will be, honestly, I have this intention. I don't know if there will be someone who has the same intention, you know, creating something like a movement, you know, call it the Democrats, call it whatever, you know, trying to, you know, having campaigns, you know, trying to, you know, be on the tools of the government, you know, trying to, you know, voice out corruption, you know, organizing press conferences, you know, being on the street, you know, manifesting, you know, saying things, you know, it's where it should start. So if we can be able to do that, to have someone or a group of people start doing that, tens of people will start follow one, but because we have patriots, huh? It's just about that they don't have anything to trigger them. Maybe they don't see that much of a reason to fight because of, you know, Gambia. Danga jog di he yow rek yaay demay he ñu ci des tok. Danga waxante ñepp ne suba dañoo he, ñepp ne waaw suba dañoo he. Bo xé yow sa bopp rek nga gis wala ñetti nit nga gis. So lool moy problème mu Gambia tan. So ñun fokk yeggaguñ ci bo xamne dañoo yëkatandoo di doorandoo rek. Problème dafa am. Du mëna régler wu dal. Wow. So it will always be an issue.
I think, you know, we can come to wrapping this up. Mr. Sonko, we
Yes.
would love to have you again. So you can just drop your number on the chat if you can, or you can just tell me.
Yeah.
Yeah. My number is Atlanta, Georgia. My number is 404-903-3253. I repeat, 404-903-3253. Atlanta, Georgia.
404-903-3253.
Yeah, 53. Demo Atlanta Malong. Yalong very important points jang for just to wrap it up. But niajibe this young man akamum potending this sensitization banko nyin nitala but niajibe mum be kumata Gambia karoto wolom the chemistry, the mannerism, the attitude. Banko nyin nita attitude. We need attitudinal change, you know. We need a revolution. You know, man need revolution because world like Jamano Tambitale science. But we need an attitudinal change. Niaje country sol miyale be move kan. Yes, system all so. Even Nadra, when look at some close countries like Ghana, for example. Ghana, President Rollins, Cabrana, system all set there. What system ni system obje reki kajla kata. Like passport or yalong jang Gambia America be jambi. Ni after driver's license now you go to the DMV office. The DMV office they have nothing to do with the police. And you need a system or what system or you have to go through it. It's all they don't care if you cannot read and write here in the US. Ni man no you cannot read and write. Woman can do business. It's all business of Mundi. You have to go to the DMV office. You have to take the test. That is the written test. The second thing, you have to go and take the practical test. Near what full pass. Whether you can read or you can write, it all business or business auto. Ibe a driver's license Nicola Dilela. Abuka Kola Yababa.
Yes, even here.
So what is system or soto? We don't have that system. We need that system and we need attitudinal change. Gambian nyanta attitudinal change
Very important. Very important.
Banko kanulale nyanta banko ni mo nyanta lolale musidino what are your responsibilities, you know, ila manalism ika mo jele fango je yeta je be banko rek ye mo jay nana rek ay kundu ñaatu fat ay adundana sai among consideration to anybody ay talo ñaato counter ñaato mol be ñaato, you know, It can more come sometimes if you can more understand how they behave. You know, those kind of things, even not manta kramoto. O imam fenko so ida fango damma had not la dino. Inanta lonna la ko ninna nata jangam mo traji. At least nse konton diro ke ngenyi nka jam ko line on la bijambang. Ni line o tije sabo baratu la bentol nyato ite tambi nyato dul nga tray ko. Bare kam mol jele nanan yetara blato yaje tambi nyato o ye mole lonje wol part of corruption. But nkamun fotendi muyalo munkumata ikam mo jele nanan because of our understanding rek ati amira tella hajo kumata molbe la hajo ti atami molbe nyato afa wala problem solve. So what on the problem as long as man awareness of the environment, man attitude falling no na character na mana ma falling no, you know, the na banko nying atano nyato. But places like Japan. I heard that Japan, even the train driver, if he made a lateness just for 1 minute, he has to, or the bus driver, he has to come out of the bus to bend down to apologize everybody. This is the kind of respect they have. They follow Japanese people.
Yeah. I mean, just to wrap it up, you mentioned very important point here, which is the attitude to change the attitude. Yeah. So this is something. Okay, we have an attitude that we need to change, but how do we change it? You know, saying it, what, you know, yeah, we need to change it, but how and what are the ways to change it? Because this needs a collective effort.
Sensitization.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Sensitization. Okay.
Yeah, sensitization.
Okay.
So who is going to do the sensitization? Someone with a clear project and a vision.
Yes.
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 So that's the thing. So who is
okay? Sensitization. Perfect. What else? What else?
Attitudinal change. It cannot be done overnight.
Yes. No. It will take time. It will take time.
Even long time attitudinal change.
Look at this. Look at this. Alifa Sallah came. Alifa Sallah came just recently with the coalition idea. Okay, he's behind it. He came and then make it work until we get Jammeh out. But guess what happened? We went behind closed doors and mess it up. So the attitude of Gambians are not
politics also. Politics also. It is true.
Either you
politics
or
you,
you
what they say,
or Abdul or
speech.
you Famara. You come today with an as a great leader. Look at Alifa Sallah. He came. I mean, with behind this coalition thing, and then make it work.
You are right.
And what happened? People go behind and mess it up.
No.
We're going back. Barrow take advantage of that and ran away with that freedom. So what are you explaining to me? Our people are not changing. That's the problem. We don't. It's not like the information is not out there. The awareness is not there. How many times we are in this platform for 2 years? Everything we ever said here is all towards attitudinal change.
Yeah.
We sing here day and night. Who cares? They browse us and then they don't even observe it. Because you know why? It is something hard to do. They don't want to do that. Gambian people, we want to stay lazy. We want to stay, being corrupt. We don't want to look up collectively. Everybody's small people. How are we gonna? You take somebody's, family member to court. They change. They defend, even though they say that this person does wrong thing.
No. You were talking about Halifa
Sallah. So we are not near attitudinal change.
Yeah,
maybe 10 years from now, maybe 20 years from now.
Yeah,
But this generation, I want anyone to come. If you have the magic touch, trust me, I will 100% behind you. Whoever can do this, make that happen. Because I think when we sit on the table and we have the same, concept, the same, Gambia would be like Rwanda very soon. But that's the thing. You nail it. That attitudinal change. Who can make that happen? It cannot be a leader. It has to be within ourselves. Because the leaders, they come, We observed them. We observed them. We took them to the corner. Hey, they took them to the corner. They took Barrow. They took Barrow to the corner.
You know,
and then changed him.
I admire that guy. Trust me. But the problem is, Sonko mentioned something about education. So Halifa Sallah, his way of politics is not that bit of compatible with our mindsets, Gambian mindset. You understand? It is recently people start to understand Halifa Sallah because of their listening to them. So you have to be educated. You have to be politically aware. You have to know about your sovereignty. You have to know about your country, your rights, and all those things. You have to know things like that to be able to understand Mr. Sallah. You understand? So it's all about, we all go back to sensitization again. You understand? Sensitization. And that attitudinal change, it can happen. We just need someone, only one, to make that happen. Slowly, but it will be sure for it to happen.
I mean, I will not say that Ali Masala, cannot be understood. I think Gambian refuse to understand him.
No, trust me. Sawane, we have to stop this. That we cannot change. We can. This is the problem because of anytime we think that
we are not ready. We can change, but we are not ready yet. How about
Sawane? No, we are. Sawane, we are talking about it. We are. Sawane, look, we are talking about it right now because we are. And I am talking about it. Somebody else have the same idea. Maybe today I'm the one who has the opportunity, or we are the ones who have the opportunity to sit down and talk. But there are people who have the same mindset and mentality as we are. We are ready. Until we stop thinking that we are not, until we stop thinking that we can't. Because of anytime we say that we are taking one step behind, we can. That time is now. That time was yesterday. You understand? That time was yesterday for us to do it. So we are now. We have to do it. It's not about negotiating.
Okay, so let's do it by force. Let's use force to change.
Yes, it is for us to feel that it is time. It was time yesterday. So now we shouldn't even be talking about this today. That's why, that's to tell you that we are far behind.
They came to Barrow. They came to the president of Sierra Leone came to Barrow and say, you're supposed to punish people who are corrupt. He said, we are not at your level. We all saw that in TV. Our country is not, we have a young democracy now. We cannot do all those things, like to send prison to prison because of corruption. I mean, we are not at that level. What are you talking about? We are at that level.
The problem. Where are we going? Then where are we heading to?
No, I'm telling you, this was true.
I did not hear that one.
I saw it on TV. I saw it myself.
I did not hear that.
We are not there yet.
Can I come in?
We have a young democracy.
Can I come in?
Go ahead.
Yeah. So good.
You mentioned very important point. How can we introduce this attitudinal change?
Yes.
I say, if you see somebody at the age of 21 and you don't love that person the way he is, and you want to change that person, and maybe as a young lady, you might try to, and you might be successful. But most of the time, you're going to fail. Attitudinal change, it has to start from every corner of the society. The most important changes have to start from the grassroots. The grassroots level. The countries that I mentioned, look at how they breed their young people. It has to start from the young age. At the elementary school, at the nursery school, you have to teach people, you gotta respect public property, you gotta respect private property, you gotta respect your teachers, you gotta respect when you're going for food, you gotta make sure that you are in line. If this one comes first, you gotta respect your parents. You gotta respect the police officers. You gotta respect the law. You don't take what doesn't belong to you. So attitudinal change is everywhere, but the most important foundation is when the child is young. We can see that the child, so they have a very good background. Even though they might be struggling in their villages or in the up countries, but usually they might not have a very good results, but when they come to the combo areas where they have so much facilities, they excel because of their grassroots background that they get, the training and the environment that they were brought up. It was a difficult environment. So once they come to a very plain level, so they excel.
Okay, my brother, you're right. It's supposed to start from the grassroots. I understand that, but at this point, we don't have time. If these changes, attitudinal changes, doesn't take place within this 5 year, couple of years, we are finished. The world is moving ahead. Everybody
No, Famara. Yeah, let Famara, because Famara, I think that you should talk on this.
Well,
you know what I'm trying to explain.
One of the quickest
let us
changes.
Be hopeful instead of like being okay. Can we do it? No. Because I don't want that, because Gambia, it has been like that for years. So the attitude, the mentality starts from we can instead of can we. You understand? We change it from there. We can instead of can we.
Okay, the attitude start with that, right?
The
attitude start we can, right?
We can do it.
We can.
But if it's in your mind that we cannot do it,
it's a problem.
You're not going to do anything about it.
No. The problem is we know Samuta Nyo. Mol manke Samuta Nyoti.
Mol manke Samuta Nyoti. That's
yes, Nintenite Samuta. It's Samuta Nambulle.
It should be having a slogan on a campaign like
confidence in you.
We can.
We
can. Like, let's do something like that. You know, the whole Gambia.
And that's what Gambians are. Look at Halifa. Come on, Halifa is a Halifa. As
I said, no, I've just told you, Sawane, that incompatibility between Khalifa's vision and the Gambian's mindset is very incompatible.
No, I cannot say that, because if it is incompatible, how come they listen?
No, when it comes to Gambians, I don't mean Gambians, I mean the voters. You know, there are three kinds of Gambians in the Gambia. You have the voters,
I'm not talking about Halifa as a president. I'm not talking about Halifa as a president.
You have the partisans.
I'm not talking about Halifa as a president. I'm not talking about Halifa as a president. What I'm saying, he bring an architecture that worked, right? Why is the architecture destroyed before it matured? The coalition.
No. It is not destroyed. You know, politics. It's about two. Politics is about speech and action. Halifa is very good when it comes to speech, but when it comes to the environment, there is where the problem is. That's Halifa's problem. And politics, it is two. It is what they say. It is on the field and speech. So he's very good. His speech top notch. But when it comes to the field of politics, it's where I think Halifa has some issues.
Yeah. But I think at this point, attitudinal change, this is a discussion that we need to have, because we Gambians haven't found that solution yet.
Yeah.
Whereby you and I, all of us here, can be one, and we change our attitude from here, and we can somebody also emulate it for all the country to become one. I don't believe that
the lack of awareness.
I don't believe that because of lack of education.
The lack of awareness started from somewhere.
I will not take that as an excuse. No, I will not take that as an excuse. We have mobile.
The lack of awareness.
My mom knows how to use a mobile phone. They need to know TikTok. They know how to use everything. People who are not educated now, they look at Bora, and all of those.
What I'm saying, what I'm saying is that the unawareness started from somewhere until this point that we are a little bit, okay, we can say ignorant. So for us to be aware also, it has to start somewhere until we are. So everything started somewhere. The awareness started somewhere.
Senegal is aware, right? Senegalese are aware, right?
Senegal, no. Senegal has never been like this, because of Senegal is protecting Ousmane Sonko, because there was this kind of political guy. He was called Mamadou Dia. Mamadou Dia was like how Ousmane Sonko is right now. So he came with his vision, his ideas, his project, and all those things. But the Senegalese people, as Gambia is doing right now, they don't care about those kind of big speech or things like that. It's all about what they can bring to their house and eat. You understand? So they weren't aware until he was jailed. He lost his sight until he ended up dead. So now history now is repeating itself. So now they were not aware about 10 or 15 years ago. Now the thing that they were not aware of, now they are aware of it. They just wake up one day and got aware of it. You know why? Only one person made it happen. Only one person made everyone aware. Today, any Senegalese youth you talk with, you know what it's going to tell you? It is Ousmane Sonko who made me aware. They didn't go back to school. They didn't go back to institutions to learn about their rights and their sovereignty or being a patriot. No, they heard it from one person. And that guy, when he started for years now, I've been following him. He didn't even have 30 people. But now millions of people are following him, not just in Senegal, but around Africa. Just the day before yesterday, I was listening to Tikin Jafokoli. You know, from Ivory Coast, he was talking about him. You go to TV5 Monday, you go to RFE, you go to France 24, you go to Euronews, you go to all the TV stations in Africa. They are talking about him. And when he was starting, he started with less than 50 people who were following him. You understand? So it's not about, okay, we need to go back to school, we need to, bust our brains, or we need to make things difficult. No, we need a responsible person with a project and a vision.
Yeah. Okay, Mama, your last take, because I think we can start.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, attitudinal problem, yes, awareness,
it's making me sleepless, man.
Sensitization is key, but we also have to hold leaders accountable. Like for corruption, we don't have to wait. Anybody that do corruption, the law is there. Let's enforce the law. That's way of changing people's attitude very quick. Because if I work with someone, I see someone doing it and he's getting away with it, and then probably you also want to try and do it next time. You understand? But once I see someone get in trouble for what he did, that will change my attitude towards doing the same problem or the same crime that someone did. So that's another way. That's why we have laws. If we cannot enforce our laws, then that also contributes to attitudinal problem, because everybody that comes, from the head of state all the way down, they will think it's okay to plunder public funds because you are in charge of those funds, so you can do it the way you want to do. But if I see that, Mr. President got trouble, whoever comes in the same position will be mindful. And that will change its way, because that there is a law that is going to hold me accountable if I don't do it right. So yes, sensitization in the long term, but the law enforcement should be implemented.
Seeing people going with handcuffs to jail, politicians.
Yeah, and then if you have integrity, if you are somebody who is very honest, you cannot be a Gambian politician. This is why Njaga mentioned about Halifa not doing good in the field, but it's good in the texture and the writing, because Halifa is very principled. Halifa is very honest. So when it comes to playing what he is writing, when it comes to the playing field, he will not be able to dishonest the Gambian people. He still wants to maintain that professionalism. He wants to maintain that honesty. You understand? So you can be good in writing stuff or being literature and speeches, but when it comes to this, is what the other politicians do. They are just being dishonest to people. They don't tell you the truth, and this is what Halifa is not doing. So this is why the difference is there. What he's good at doing is giving speeches, writing speeches, but also he wants to do the same in the playing field. He will tell you, don't support me or vote for me if you think I'm the right candidate. But he will not go and tell you that, I'm going to buy you a Benachin, I'm going to do all the things, do your T-shirt and go. So this is what the others are doing now, even though they are not good in writing speeches and making things.
So can you do what they do? Can you do both?
Yes, of course. You can
do
have
both.
A good speech. Yes, of course. It depends on, come on.
You can do both.
It depends on honesty. If you are an honest person between you and God, of course you can.
Exactly. But that's the problem. But anyway, thank you so much. Very interesting. I think we'll have this discussion back again.
Yeah,
because if we don't change attitude, we don't have the.
I want anybody who can come up with a remedy for that. It doesn't matter how much it costs. We should pay for it.
Just like Jaga said,
I have the remedy for it.
Yeah.
And it's very easy. You just
let's try.
I think it's not difficult. It's just about, when words matches actions, it will be easy for people to see exactly where you are.
Exactly.
It's just about that. Exactly. Words matching with actions is what we lack in the Gambia.
That's what we lack it. That's our problem right there.
Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you, guys. I think our it's a lot of activities on our thing, so you guys can follow it up. But thank you so much for coming. And then I think we will continue this debate. I mean, it is.
We can do that. We can.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Pamela, thank you very much. Good to see you guys
thank you so much. Very good.
It was really
very interesting.
I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much, Pamela. Okay. Thank you very much, Sawane.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. See you.
All right.